Eddie Hearn has made a substantial offer to Jermall Charlo to fight his guy, Demetrius Andrade, in a middleweight unification in May. Now, this fight would take place on DAZN, but it would only be a one-fight deal for Jermall Charlo. So if he was to beat Andrade, he could go back to PBC with the WBO belt to add to his WBC belt, no problem, even though PBC don't recognize the WBO as a legitimate sanctioned body. Whatever the case may be, he'll still get a nice payday and have a nice name to have on his resume in Demetrius Andrade. There's been a rivalry between the Charlos and Andrade for a long time now, so let's settle it in the ring the way we're supposed to, right? I don't want to hear no excuses from the Charlos or from PBC when it comes to this deal. Because what else is Jermall Charlo going to do? Who have they got over there in the middleweight division on PBC? Was he going to run it back with Korobov again? Is that what he's going to do? He's going to fight Chris Eubank Jr.? Because I'm telling you now, people, Demetrius Andrade is a more credible name at this point in time, at 160 pounds, than Chris Eubank Jr. or Matt Korobov. He's a world titleist. He's unbeaten. He's probably in the prime of his career right now. That is the fight that Jermall Charlo should be trying to take. Of course, he would like Canelo and Golovkin and a whole heap of other people. But right now, this is a great fight for him. And it will make those fights perhaps easier to make if he's got a relevant win on his resume in the next, 6 months. And Demetrius Andrade would be a relevant win. So again, I don't want to hear no BS. I don't want to hear nothing about the other side of the street. I don't want to hear nothing. And look, Andrade asked Eddie Hearn to make him an offer, a one-fight deal. He asked him. Eddie Hearn has responded and said, okay, here's your one-fight deal for good money. So what are you waiting for? If Charlo turns this down, it's going to be hard to believe that it's anything other than Al Haymon coming in and either whispering in Charlo's ear or flat out preventing him from taking the fight. It'll be hard to believe anything else. Al Haymon has done a lot of good things in boxing, but over the past few years, he's also been doing a lot of bad things. He's been doing boxing fans a disservice by trying to keep as much in-house as possible when he doesn't have a particularly big stable in certain weight divisions, and middleweight being one of them. And even in a division where he does have a big stable, at 147, he's frozen out one of the biggest stars, well, let me not say biggest stars, but one of the best fighters, because he's, not doing great numbers, is he? Let's be real, Terence Crawford. But he's frozen out Terence Crawford, and he's one of the best fighters, pound for pound, in the whole world. That is doing boxing fans a disservice. So Al Haymon, hopefully he doesn't try and do the same thing here in the middleweight division, because not only is he doing boxing fans a disservice, because Andrade versus Charlo is a good fight, but he'd also be doing Charlo a disservice. But some of these guys who are signed to Al Haymon are not very bright, unfortunately, and they don't realize that they're being played by Haymon. He's whispering things in their ears and telling them all kinds of nonsense in order to dissuade them from crossing the street, even just for one fight. Now, occasionally he does let fighters go elsewhere and, take fights on other networks, but it's disturbing how often he seems to block fighters from doing that. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If, and hopefully, Charlo sees the light and sees sense and doesn't get blocked by anybody, but if the fight does take place, who do you guys have winning it? Personally, I think Demetrius Andrade beats him. I thought Matt Korobov gave Charlo all types of trouble. And perhaps he wasn't up for the Matt Korobov fight. Korobov did come in, I believe, as a late replacement. So, maybe it took some adjusting to a southpaw who's technical and awkward and all that kind of stuff. But I just feel like even if you're 90% or 80% and Korobov is giving you loads of problems, if you're 100% Demetrius Andrade is still going to give you loads of problems. And in my view, he's probably going to beat you. But hey, it's still a good fight. Just because I think Andrade is going to win it doesn't mean he actually will. Which is what good fights are all about. It's about not being 100% sure about the outcome. Maybe you're 60-40. And that's kind of what I am with Andrade and Charlo. 60% sure Andrade will win, but 40% is still a decent chance for for Charlo in my mind. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below about all the points I've raised in this video. It's happening, I'm out.